The American dream. It's not dead. It's being auctioned off. And if you don't know how the game is played, you're going to lose big, even if you do everything right. On this 4th of July, while we celebrate freedom, let's talk about the harsh truth. Millions of hardworking Americans can no longer afford to buy a home in this country that they helped build. Wages haven't kept up, interest rates are punishing, and the very professionals meant to protect buyers, buyer agents, they're often the weakest link in the entire process. And here's the kicker. If you don't watch this entire video, you're gonna miss the one thing that I feel you can save you tens of thousands of dollars in this brutal market. Now I'm gonna lay it all out. I might lose some friends in the real estate, some realtor friends, but there's hidden costs here, there's bad advice you're getting from realtors, and there's agent tricks that no one's talking about. And stay with me to the end, because I'm gonna give you my free 11-step guide to stress-free home buying experience. Yes, you can do it. Trust me, you're gonna need it. There is actually stress-free in buying a house right now. Let's get to it. So let's paint a picture here. What are American families facing today when they try to build their first home? I'm gonna show you the brutal math that most people don't wanna talk about. So I have an example here I put together for you. Say for example, you wanna buy a $400,000 home. Or maybe your home as a seller is worth $400,000. Here's what the buyers are going through. Now it sounds reasonable for a decent family in most markets today, right? Well, maybe not so, because if you break it down, you'll see what it really costs you. So let's take a look at this. First, you need a down payment. Now, if you put down the traditional 20% to avoid the PMI, that's $80,000. That's a lot of money. A lot of people don't have that. How long does it take the average American family to save $80,000? A long time, but there's other programs out there, yes. But say you only put 10% down, that's say $40,000, still a lot of money. Say if you're gonna go FHA, so maybe you only need 3.5% down. But for this example, let's just say you're financing $360,000 and today's rates, we'll just say 7%. I know they just dropped to 6.77, the lowest they've been in a while. Your principal and interest payment alone are $2,394 per month. And they call that part P&I, principal and interest. And not done yet, we have to add the property taxes. And in most areas, that's another, say, $400 to $600 per month. Let's say $500. And then you got homeowners insurance. Let's say, I know it used to be like $100 a month when I first started, but now it could be between $250, $300 a month. Depends on the area. So let's just say $300. And if you put down less than 20%, you have to add the private mortgage insurance, and that depends upon your credit score. To get the better rate, the higher the credit score. Maybe that's $200, $300 more a month. So your total monthly payment could be like $3,300, $3,400 per month. That's over $41,000 a year just for your mortgage payment. So financial experts say that you shouldn't spend more than, 28% of your gross income on housing? So if you want to afford this $3,400 or $3,300 a month mortgage payment, you need to make about $140,000 to $150,000 per year. And the median household income in America, what is it? It's about $70,000. So you can see the problem, right? A family making this median income can't even afford half of what this modest home costs monthly. But here's what's even worse. You're really not just competing with other American families who are also struggling with these numbers, you're kind of competing with people who are receiving down payment assistance, housing vouchers, many other government benefits that are working American taxpayers that are funding, they don't even qualify for themselves. So while families, American families in general, are working 2 jobs and they're trying to save $40,000 for a down payment, others are getting that money handed to them. Now, that's not really fair. So how is that the American dream? And if you can somehow scrape together that down payment and qualify for that massive monthly payment, you're then house poor before you even move in. No money for furniture, emergency fund, no savings for your kid's future, just house payments to consume your entire paycheck. The American dream, it used to mean that if you worked hard, you could afford a home. And now it means if you work hard, you might be able to qualify and then maybe not have any money to do anything else. So how's that the American dream? Well, there's some good news to all this, and there's some bad news about this American dream. So let's say you somehow manage to buy a home, right? You get to do that. That's great. Then you have financial bleeding on other sides. You have like electric bill. They're really expensive right now. And that's not just because of inflation. There's other regulations and instability, meaning, higher costs for basic utilities insurance. Then you have homeowners insurance, premiums have exploded. We used to cost a few $100s a year, it's now costing thousands. In some areas you can't even get coverage. And you got property taxes, they keep climbing. The government wants their cut of your American dream every year. That cut keeps getting bigger. Maintenance, repairs, all those things adds up. Everything just costs more. Maybe a simple plumbing job used to cost $200, now it costs $500. It's insane. So when you buy a house, you're not just buying a house, you're signing up for a lifetime of increasing expenses on something that was supposed to represent stability and security. So how are we going to solve that problem? Well, now you have to couple all that with the realtor issue. I might ruffle some feathers here, but someone needs to say that. And in the middle of all this housing crisis, you think that real estate agents are supposed to be helping you. They feel for you, they have empathy for you, they're supposed to help you navigate all this mess. You think they would be your advocates. But the dirty little secret, and most buyer agents today are not looking out for your best interests. What is happening, Diane? Well, for the last 5 years, pandemic, agents have been just running around with buyers, putting in 4, 5, sometimes 10 offers per client and making no money. They're not closing deals. So when it comes to you and looking for a house, sometimes they put their commission check first. This market's been so competitive, they're not earning commissions. So whenever they can, they look for a quick buck. And now we have the recent changes with how the commissions work. I'm not sure if you know about this, but you probably do. As far as the seller not paying the commission, the buyer has to pay, but the seller might pay. They say, oh, don't worry, the seller will pay my commission. But what happens if the seller says no? Then are you on the hook? Yes. So if they're putting 3% in for buyer's agent commission and the seller doesn't pay for it, maybe they only pay for half, you are on the hook for the other half. So not only are you paying more for a house, you're also paying their commission. It could be all of it. Did you get that explanation up front is the question. I don't know. And what value are they providing for you? So if you are going to pay for that, what is the value? Like I said, what is the value? Are they good negotiators? Are they have done thousands of transactions? So that's where experience and accountability come in. Another truth bomb, that agents working with buyers, unfortunately, guys, are the least experienced agents in the business. That's how they get to start. That's why they get to start as a buyer agent. You don't see new agents going out and listing hundreds of homes. They work with buyers. It's easier. They get a hot lead, they meet you at the house. I love the house. You put the offer in. You don't even know if they're even qualified to do the negotiating for you or anything. Now, negotiating is coming back to play. The more experienced agents like myself are working with sellers. So not only are you fighting, like I said, this impossible market, high prices, raising costs, but you may be working with someone who really doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't have the value to negotiate for you, to be the guy by your side, and then they're writing 3% into this contract that you're signing. Because when you go look for houses today, you have to sign a buyer agent contract. Now there's a lot of people who are avoiding that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sign. I'm just going to go call the listing agent. Good and bad, the listing agent works for the seller. And guess what? You're still going to have to pay somebody something. So buyers out there looking for houses, interview your agent first. Please interview them before you even meet with them. Questions you can ask. How long you've been in the business? More so is like, how many transactions have you completed as a buyer's agent, or just how many transactions have you completed? Do you have a team leader or manager who can step in if problems arise? What's your after-sales service program? Do you stay in touch with your past clients? Do you have any past clients? Do you have annual events for your clients? Do you celebrate their home buying anniversaries if you do? What do you do with your past clients? Can I talk to 3 of your recent clients? That's another thing. And what exactly do you do between when my offer is accepted and settlement to ensure the transaction goes smoothly? What are you doing for me? Most agents will stumble in these questions because they don't have the answers. So on this 4th of July, I am exposing some things that you may not have heard before, but I want to talk about one thing that nobody really talks about. It's called the pending process neglect. So what is that? What is pending process neglect, Diane? Well, to tell you, on this 4th of July, what typically happens, you find a house, you might be overpaying for it now, or whatever. You get this house and you're happy with it because the markets in your area might be, you may be paying more or not for a house, but whatever it is, you got this house, your offer gets accepted, and then crickets. Your agent disappears. The period between contract and closing is the part where most deals fall apart. This is when that happens. So is when you need your agent the most, they leave. They're just waiting for celebration day or settlement day so they can make their money. So what are they doing? They're out looking for new clients. They're not working with you and saying, listen, who do you know who may be buying or selling a house? And working with you to make you so outrageously happy with the experience that they're having so that you introduce them to other people. They're out there looking for more clients. Are they following up on inspections? Are they managing the appraisal process? Are they coordinating with the lenders? Are they making calls for you every day? Are they preparing for any potential problems? Do they even know the turbulence that can happen? I just wrote a new book called Turbulence in Real Estate Transaction. It's amazing. I haven't even gotten up online yet, but definitely DM me or call me if you want a copy. As soon as I get one, I should be getting them in about a month. So most of the time, the answer to these questions is no. They're off chasing, like I said, their next commission check instead of taking care of the client who trusted them with their biggest purchase of their life. It happens every day. So the American dream. Here we are. It's Independence Day. Time to celebrate freedom in a country where the basic American dream of homeownership has become a nightmare for many families. You're fighting high prices and rising interest rates, increased competition, skyrocketing operating costs, and real estate agents who aren't advocating for your interests. It's all out there. Don't lose hope though. Knowledge is power. And now you know what you're up against. You have to make sure you put these things in place. If you're thinking about buying, just be smart. Interview agents like you're interviewing them for the most important job they'll ever do for you. This is your largest asset you'll ever buy, not just buying a car, buying a house. Demand to see their track record. Demand to know the game they play. What's their game plan? What's your accountability? And if you want help navigating this process, and as I promised in the beginning, I would show you something I put together to help you navigate the process. I put together the 11 steps to a stress-free home buying experience, a guide that'll help you avoid the turbulence that buyers face in buying a house. You can download it for free. Just use the link below. Now this July 4th, let's commit taking back control of our American dream. It won't be easy, but nothing worth fighting for ever is. So, and if you haven't seen it yet, this one Fed decision could cost you your dream home in 2025. Take a look at this video. It takes a hard look of what's really driving today's housing crisis and what every buyer needs to know before making a move. Happy 4th, and remember, even in difficult markets, informed decisions lead to better outcomes.